Hello there, thanks for joining me. In this video, I will be demonstrating the branching workflows in Wagtail, and this video demonstration is based on this repo right here. I won't go into the details about the problem. You can have a look at the Stack Overflow question or the blog post if you haven't already done so. And so without further ado, let us jump in. So at this point, I've already cloned the repo, and the images have been built and the containers are up and running. So the next thing I'm going to do is create a super user. And we will use root at example.org. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is load the initial data. And this initial data consists of these users who've been categorized into these three groups according to this situation that we have here. So we have the writers and the moderators and the approvers. So that data has been loaded, and if we log into the admin root at example.org, and if we go to settings and users, there we have our users right there. And if we go to groups, you can see that we have those three groups. Now by default, Wagtail has sort of like got a linear kind of workflow, and there's a default task which is called moderator's approval, and there is a default workflow which is also called moderator's approval, and it consists of this task. So we will modify this workflow, and we will call it daily reflection publishing. And we could now define new tasks. So if we look at this illustration, so the first task is this this moderator approval or moderator review task, and this will obviously be a split group approval task, which in this case is the reflection month dependent approval task. So I will go ahead and create this task. So at the time of creating this task, so we get to choose who approves the first half and who does so for the second half of the year. But what we need to have is moderators A and moderators B for the first half and the second half respectively. So maybe before we get to this point, we will need to modify the groups. So let's start by modifying the moderators group, and we'll call it maybe moderator B, and save that. And we will add another group and call it moderator A. So they should be able to access the Wagtail admin, and let's give them some permissions. And we will select the root page. So we will add that group, So now we have moderator A and B, but we need to modify the users. Remember, we have two moderators. One is moderator 1 and one is moderator 2. So we will assign moderator 1 to the A group and moderator 2 to the B group. So let's come over here and view the users in this group. So we have moderator 2 and moderator 1. So let's edit moderator 1 by adding them to the moderator A group. Okay, so now if we go back to groups and just check, okay, so now let's get back to the workflows and edit this workflow again. So this is daily reflections publishing, and now we will create a new task. So now we can choose moderator A for the January to June reflections and moderator B for the July to December reflections, and we will call this say moderators review. So that will be our first task, which corresponds to this particular task, and then lastly we will have the approval task. So this will just be the standard group approval task. So let's call it perhaps final approval. So now we have those two tasks according to this kind of setup, and we'll maintain the pages. So let's save that. Okay, so we have the daily reflections publishing workflow, and it consists of two tasks. So now let us log out and log in as one of the writers so that we can create some reflections, and let's see what happens when we do so. Now we need to fire up the MailDev server so that we can see the email notifications as they are as the emails are sent. So let's go to daily reflections and create a couple of them. So the first one we're going to create will be in the first half of the year. So let's assume we're doing this for next year. So we'll pick January, say January 12th, and we have some random content there and there. So we submit that for moderation. See, we have 3 new emails. The super user by default gets email notifications. Of course, you can turn that off in the Wagtail admin, but you see that moderator 1 has received an email just as we expect, because this reflection was for January, which is in the first half of the year. So let's go ahead and create another one in the second half of the year and see what happens. Let's call it example content, and pick a random date in the second half. Let's say November 18th. We have some content there. Submit this for moderation. We have new emails, again the super user, and there we go, moderator 2 has been notified. So we are now at this stage, and this is working as we expect. But let's just log in as one of the moderators so that we can see for sure that this is working as we expect. So we will log in as moderator 1, and we should have a notification. There we go. Let's approve that, and there we have an email sent to the super user, but also we have an email sent to the final approver. So this means that this is working as we expect. So that's it. Thanks a lot.